time it is. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is.
Welcome to the Matthew Mania Podcast. I'm Matthew Mashler, real estate broker who watches wrestling as if it's my job. And with me, the co-host of the Matthew Mania Podcast, the executive vice president and co-founder of BRCW Boca Raton Championship Wrestling, Neil the Heel Glazier. Hi, Neil. How are you?
Hey, Matthew. How's it going?
It's going real good. And I have a good surprise for you today.
Oh, yeah? All right.
We have a very special guest.
Yeah?
He is the reigning, defending, undisputed Cruiserweight champion of Boca Raton, Jonny Fairplay. Hey, Johnny. Welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you for that introduction. I like to call myself the Boca Raton Championship Wrestling Cruiserweight Champion of the World of Boca Raton.
Boca Raton Cruiserweight Champion of the World of Boca Raton.
Yeah.
Of the world.
It's a little wordy.
I think you hit the nail on the head.
Thank you. Neil the Heel. Oh my God! I thought your last name was Heel. I thought your middle name was The. And wow, I had no idea. This is
don't tell anybody.
Podcasts are supposed to be informative, so here we are.
You know, if I knew we were going to have Johnny on, if it was about a month ago and you told me Johnny was going to be on this show, I wouldn't have shown up. But I think since time has passed since our match, I think we kind of made amends. I think.
Well, I did. I mean, I love walking around with this beautiful piece of 20-pound jewelry at airports, breweries, wrestling promotions throughout the country. I don't know if you guys saw, but I was at Revolution Wrestling Authority Night of Champions on Sunday, and I wasn't aware. It's kind of a loophole that I should have read the fine print. If you were a champion and you stepped foot inside the squared circle, you were contractually obligated to defend said championship. But don't worry, folks. With my arsenal of moves, I left and still Boca Raton Championship Wrestling Cruiserweight Champion of the World of Boca Raton.
And we all at BRCW are very, very proud of you. And you said, I don't know if you know, but you're talking to the audience. Obviously, I knew as the owner and CEO of BRCW. In fact, I got a very nice royalty check. So thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
There we go.
Yeah.
I definitely need to double check my contract. Wow.
So please feel free to defend that anytime, anywhere you like.
Oh well, the offers are out there. It's just choosing opponents that are just worthy is the issue here, guys. I mean, because I put a lot of years and dedication and training into what I do, and I mean, just some Johnny by nightly that comes through is like, hey, how about me? No, you gotta earn it just like I did all by myself at Challenge Accepted.
And speaking of opponents, should we announce? I don't know if we've announced it yet. Should we announce who it's not your first title defense. Obviously, you've defended it already, but your first title defense back with us here in Boca Raton. I don't know if we announced it, but we're about to. Should we give the exclusive on who you're defending against next time in Boca Raton?
This will be news to me. I mean, so
Johnny doesn't know.
Matthew, you and Neil, I trust wholeheartedly. I mean, because why wouldn't I? I mean, stuff's worked out thus far. So with you, I kind of have like an open contract type deal down there in which, I feel that what's best for business, best for Jonny Fairplay, and best, for the fans of Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. Please tell me, who am I defending against?
So, I looked at our Cruiserweight division here in Boca Raton, and it is very, very deep. But we do have, other people have been through our show before, and we did get an inquiry, and I decided to book the match May 18th at BRCW Underground, Mizner Park in Boca Raton. against, and I'll give you a hint. He is gorgeous. If anyone remembers,
It's not me.
Anyone remembers from?
Am I defending against myself?
we and we've had him once before. I believe only once before at BRCW.
That's also me.
Who is it?
No, it's Tyler. Tyler Breeze.
Whoa, hey.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anyone else that had the stature to measure up to someone of your celebrity. We needed to.
Wow.
You know,
I feel like this is a little soon for a Tyler Breeze title defense. I mean,
I just don't. Why the past 2 years I get Alan Martinez?
based on your ability. You're welcome.
Well, there's something to that.
I wasn't going to put you against Kerry Morton.
Alan Martinez is one of the best out there. So
you did great against him.
Yeah,
but he's not as gorgeous as Tyler Breeze.
Okay.
Yeah, Tyler Breeze. All right. Is this? Are we going to play like video games to decide who's the champ?
Yeah. We have not come up with a good stipulation, so we can look into that.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of he's kind of good at video games, though.
Yeah.
Oh man, is there a cheat code that I can bring into the? You know what? We'll do. I'll have my lawyers look. I really felt you're going to kind of give me an easy one here. This is high end caliber. You're talking about one half of the Fashion Police, Tyler Breeze.
Hey, if you want to hold the belt, you gotta.
I mean, look.
This
is Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. This is not a local indie that it's just a fly by night. I thought you knew what you were signing up for. We are top level company here. It's one of the reasons we invited you.
Yeah, but I mean, I was thinking like Ellsworth or someone a little lower end. I mean, look, I defend against all comers. There's no fear here. You guys know that. But I mean, I just feel like Tyler Breeze. I mean, the guy's hungry too. He wants some gold.
I've been watching your career for a very long time. I've seen you get out of worse situations. I have the utmost confidence in you.
Oh well, I mean, now that you say it like that, I mean, this should be an easy one, right?
Yeah. Speaking of Giants' career, I'd like to switch gears a little bit, if that's okay. I want to talk about Johnny's earlier career before he made his way over to BRCW. And Jonny, everyone does remember you from Survivor, both Pearl Islands and Survivor Micronesia. So when you first got cast on Survivor, did you go in planning to be the biggest villain in reality TV history?
Yeah, I had 3 goals. I should have had 4. There's definitely an asterisk there. The 4th goal should have been added. But I wanted to create the character of Jonny Fairplay, have that character on television for as long as possible, and make Jonny Fairplay the greatest villain in the history of not only Survivor but reality television as an entire genre. And so with that, I formulated the dead grandma lie, and with 30 million people watching, and now one of the biggest reality television pop culture questions of and answers of all time, and one of the most memorable moments in the history of reality television. I think I accomplished that.
Yeah, and speaking of the dead grandma moment, that is one of the most infamous twists in reality TV history. Looking back, do you regret that, or is it still one of your proudest moments?
I absolutely no regrets. I mean, I've been on 90 television shows since then. At age 51, accomplished the dream of all dreams to become a champion in the world of professional wrestling. My true love. The only regrets is peek behind the curtain. I have woken up in 3 separate medical facilities, aka hospitals, as I guess we're now allowed to say on WWE again, in 3 separate states, by way of being sucker punched on 3 separate occasions from behind from fans that did not appreciate the dead grandma lie. So that part I don't like, having to change my phone number multiple times because of death threats, people sending feces to CBS, attention Jonny Fairplay. Actually, I guess I like that part because it never made it to me, and did go to CBS. That's kind of funny. But no, there's ups and downs with a move like that. In the world of 2025, you have keyboard cowards that will say whatever, and they're eliminated by way of the block button pretty easily. But back in the day, people were a little more gregarious in their reactions to stuff. So yeah, no, 3 separate states I was sucker punched from behind and woke up in the emergency room. Wait
a minute, were one of those sucker punches from Danny Bonaducci?
No, that one was a face to face.
That was face to face.
But my lawyer Dan Lapidus, he enjoyed that. Well, much more than I did. We're looking at we looked at a lawsuit to both Bonaducci and Fox, who precipitated that action, and we had a nice settlement the day before the reality really awards. So exactly 1 year later, and Bonaducci and I went on stage and kissed and made up, literally and figuratively.
Kind of like how we made up.
Well, you kiss the belt, Neil. There's a difference, and if given the option, I choose you kissing the belt than me. So thank you. I think this works out for everyone involved.
All right. Well, you so the dead grandma moment that happened on Pearl Islands, correct?
Yeah, September. Well, I guess the season started September. That was right around
about 20 years ago.
Time, I think. Yeah, 22 years ago. So, yeah. And is this show live? When's this show dropping?
No, we don't drop it live. It'll drop like the second week in April.
Okay. Well, peek behind the curtain, guys. We are recording April 1st. I'm mentioning that for no reason, but I guess I can announce right here. I am on Survivor season 50.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
There goes my next question.
Yeah. Well, actually, that would in fact, guys, be an April Fool's. I am not on Survivor season 50 because they've decided that a more boring version would be a much better celebration of 50 seasons.
I saw that.
Greatest reality.
I saw that just came out yesterday, I think. That little spoiler of who's on, and it'll help me sleep at night.
It's an ever evolving cast. The phone call could come, but I mean, guys, look, I have title defenses to look at. Do I really have time to disappear from the world as we know it and go to Fijian Island when I could be doing other shows that I am filming, or most importantly, having title defenses of the Boca Raton Championship Wrestling Cruiserweight Championship of the world of Boca Raton, right, all over the world. I mean, what's a better use of my time?
Yeah, and I mean, you can be on there for how long is it until the end? Do they film Survivor?
It used to be 39 days. I think they're 26 days now. Because days. It's a much kinder, gentler version of Survivor than the one that I played and nearly won.
Right. Well, but then there was also Survivor Micronesia, and with that, your time was cut short. You want to tell us what happened there and what you think how you could have dominated that season?
Well, Micronesia, 8 days before filming was the whole incident with myself and Bonaducci. And that night, I called 1-800-DENTIST. I had 7 hours of emergency dental surgery. I had 1 root canal done that day, and then the next day went back and had an additional 8 hours of emergency dental surgery. So for a total of 15 hours of surgery, my jaw was shattered, 4 root canals total. And this was back in the day when they just didn't make those phone calls for people to come back on a regular basis. So they're like, hey, do you think you can do this? And I said, sure. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I'm tough. I had just won Celebrity Bull Riding, hosted by Ty Murray. the godfather, my oldest daughter. And so I went out there and I had mouth guards for challenges, once we got to that part of the show. But as soon as the game began, it was announced that there was a hidden immunity idol somewhere right around us. And I find it, I spot it, I see it, I move towards it. Yowman is behind me and sees it, shoves my head into the side of the boat and grabs the idol. And that right there with the shattered jaw was game over. So on the show, I said, that, my girlfriend at the time was pregnant, and I wanted to go home. And they were like, who's going to believe that? I'm like, the same idiots that believe the dead grandma lie. But, for me, I wasn't going to put over Bonaducci on, in front of, 15 million people, giving him credit for eliminating me from the game that I love. So I said one thing, but the reality of the matter is, and reality in this case is true. Shattered jaw and jaw meets boat. Boat wins.
Wow.
And everything happens for a reason. But no, if I had stayed, the first person that we were going to vote out was Parvati, and Parvati went on to win. So by simple mathematics, I would have won.
All right. And you said Pearl Island, that was 22 years ago?
Pearl Island was 22 years ago.
Wow.
Micronesia was 2008.
Jeez. So you've been around reality TV for a long time. How do you think it's changed? Has it changed since it first started?
Well, seeing how long I've done it, I mean, we are talking, 22 years to my first season. Would you call me the godfather of reality TV?
Oh, we would not.
That's Mark Long.
Oh, well, I mean, I feel size-wise, I feel that should be my distinction. So, maybe we can.
We might have to change Johnny's opponent.
No.
Well, I mean, I feel that the weight that Mark would add. Does that guy even work out? For him to be able to cut the weight to make cruiserweight, the weight class division.
Mark wouldn't. Mark wouldn't be cruiserweight.
But we will be happy to tell him that you are going around claiming to be the godfather of reality TV now.
I do want.
I mean, that's fine. You guys do have increased security for a champion on television taping days, correct?
We do, and then also I do want to mention something else. What you mentioned about if you do get a contract to work a reality show, whether it's Survivor or something in a foreign country, and you mentioned your lawyer. I do have to say, shout out, excellent attorney, because when we negotiated Johnny's contract, and I will tell people this, there is a provision that if he has a television show that can go on for weeks or even months, that his championship would be safe. He doesn't have to forfeit. He doesn't have to defend. We would hold his championship in abeyance during the time period that he is away filming any of these shows.
And he could bring that belt with him on the show if he chooses.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. How am I going to hold my pants up?
Right.
I mean,
but there is no concern if he's away for a period of time to do one of these shows. He is legally entitled to take that time off from BRCW.
See, I didn't carry the belt with me everywhere I went, but that's because that belt needed me more than I needed it.
Oh well, I don't know about that. I mean, I feel
2 years. I carried that belt for 2 years.
Yeah, and you think you would have gotten some biceps, and that's a heavy championship, Neil. What is that, guy? 20 pounds? If it's not an ounce less, I would imagine.
It's 19.2 pounds.
Oh well, there. Yeah. So I guess it's 14 ounces less than my official guess.
Now, John, you were recently on House of Villains, which brought together some of reality TV's biggest bad guys. Tell us what that experience was like.
Oh my God, I literally woke up the second morning, and I was just like, what is happening in my life right now? I'm in a mansion. We put in our food and beverage order every day, and I had a limitless supply of low carb IPAs, Casamigos Reposada. The PAs were bringing us the finest herbal relief available in Southern California. And there's a pool, there's a hot tub, there's gym equipment. I thought I was on the challenge every morning working up, and then quickly to my low carb IPA. And I'm playing against the heaviest hitters, the greatest bad guys in the history of reality television. I mean, you have Omarosa, Johnny Bananas, Shake from Love Is Blind, Jax Taylor from Vanderpump Rules, Corinne from The Bachelor, Bobby Lights, a national treasure, as we all know and love, from Love and Hip Hop, and Fisa from 90 Day Fiancé. She didn't talk much, but she didn't need to. If you look at her,
and wasn't also who is it? Tiffany? No.
And last but not least, and probably most important, Tiffany New York Pollard. So it was the who's who of reality television villains, and I felt at home, and sitting in that mansion and sipping on those ice cold low carb IPAs. I'm like, why did I ever want to starve to death on an island? This is the move for me.
Right. That's what I was going to say. You've played the villain in different formats. How was House of Villains different from Survivor?
It was my love letter to reality TV. I mean, I loved everything about it. I mean, on our days off, we went to a bowling alley and there's pinball machines. I'm like, oh my God, this is insane, And then our missions, when we would have the battle royales to decide the supervillain of the week, and once those concluded, we would have a redemption challenge. But lo and behold, to I guess just me and Johnny Bananas, you could use those redemptions to sabotage people. And that is my number one forte, and I excelled. Jax Taylor being a victim, unfortunately, Miss Tiffany New York Pollard was also a victim. So no, you don't give me the keys to the Ferrari and tell me not to break 55.
And you just mentioned Johnny Bananas. Did you know Johnny is he's a fan of BRCW?
I do. I've
been to quite a few shows. He's spends some of his time here in Boca. He has his Rumble Boxing gym here in Boca. Shout out to Rumble Boxing.
Yeah, no, before signing that exclusive contract with you guys, and elusive contract, if you will, I had been doing my research. Neil, I was well aware of your 600-day Cruiserweight championship voyage, and I was like, wow, how can I destroy that? And but I'm looking at who's there, and it's not just who's in the squared circle, which you have the best assembly of talent on the roster down there, but it's who's sitting in the seats watching this talent.
Also the fan base,
and it's and it's not like every Monday night on Netflix. It's rappers that I've never heard of that may or may not even have one hit single. No, it's the who's who of real celebrity. Right. Your Johnny Bananas, your Tory Deals, and So
speaking of rappers, like, West Side Gun.
Oh,
once again, not sure if that's a real person. Don't know.
he runs a promotion. He runs a promotion called Fourth Rope, and he does a show around. He's a good friend and a great promoter and a great rapper.
Oh. Great rapper, great designer. Who else? We do have a lot of celebrities though. That UFC Hall of Famer Rashad Evans. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
And
I met Sugar in Vegas. I was going into a very exclusive VIP club, and he was waiting in line, and I politely walked past him to the VIP entrance and shook his hand, took the picture, and proceeded to continue walking.
Johnny Fairplay, everybody.
do not repeat that story to Sugar.
he might be listening.
Who's to say?
Johnny, going back, you listed a number of some, I guess you can say, some all-star celebrity names that were in House of Villains. Who Out of those people, who'd you get along with the most, and who drove you nuts?
Wow. Me and Bananas were cool. I was at the Hearts Reality event before it became the Over the Edge charity event. So I was at Hearts Reality a couple years ago, and I was literally just walking in, and I had never met Johnny Bananas before. And so we filmed in February, and this was the previous December. And so I'm walking in, and people are coming up, taking pictures and asking for autographs and stuff, like right when I got to the event. And someone was like, "Hey, can you do my podcast, sometime in February?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm gone February 3rd through February 27th. But otherwise, my February is wide open." And Bananas was right there. Once again, I had never even met the guy. And he looks over, he goes, "House of Villains." And I'm just like, "Oh, we need to chat." And so that weekend, Bananas and myself became fast friends, and we kind of ran roughshod over the house. But no, I toured. I did a House of Villains viewing party tour across the country, and it was myself and Jack Taylor for a lot of the events. Shake from Love Is Blind, who most people found to be one of the biggest scumbags ever in reality TV. He's been to my house. I've had him here throwing up the first pitch for the Danville Otterbots minor league baseball team. I've had him here for DJ gigs. I've gone to Florida and hung out with Shake. Omarosa and I have been friends for 21 years. We've had each other's backs forever. Corinne, she was nice. Bobby Lights is my roommate. He's literally insane, and I love him for it. And Fisa, once again, didn't chat that much, but look at her. She doesn't need to. So yeah. So there was no one that I didn't get along with. It's birds of a feather flock together. So, everyone on House of Villains is there for a reason. And, and it's kind of a mutual admiration society.
I get it. Yep.
So,
yeah, like me and you, Neil.
That's what I get, exactly.
So have you always been a fan of wrestling?
Yeah. So I grew up in Danville, Virginia, which is about 35 minutes from the Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina, the home of Crockett Wrestling, Mid-Atlantic, the old NWA. And starting at the age of 4, my dad used to take me to the matches at the Coliseum, and he told me, root for the bad guys, the good guys are pussies. So that kind of shaped what my mindset would be going into not only the fandom of professional wrestling, but also just being a scumbag in real life. And so yeah, I remember as a kid, I'd go to the Crockett stuff, but my first WWF live event was, I believe, 80, right before WrestleMania 2, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure. And I was the biggest Roddy Piper fan on the planet, and this is bad guy Roddy Piper, not good guy Roddy Piper. And he was my favorite, and it's that day they did a double shot. They were in Landover, Maryland that afternoon, and they were in Richmond, Virginia that night. And Roddy was not on the card that evening because he had a match against Cousin Luke or Cousin Junior in Landover, Maryland. One of the hillbilly cousins.
Uncle Elmer's cousin.
And someone stabbed Roddy on the way to the ring in Landover, Maryland, and he didn't make it to Richmond. But I'm like, how big a fan of Cousin Luke or Cousin Junior do you have to be to stab Roddy Piper with a knife on the way to the ring in 1986?
Well, I just wonder if someone who just had hate on Roddy Piper, not a fan of Cousin Luke.
Well, I don't, who's to say, Matt? I mean, come on.
Wait, Johnny, you talk about Roddy Piper. Were you his assistant at one point or something?
I was his personal assistant for about a year. It was the longest year of my life. It was a lot of fun. Roddy was crazy, but it was great.
How does that even happen? How do you get that?
Smart Bart Sawyer, who was living in Portland, Oregon. He was a friend of mine. Smart Bart Sawyer, he had just come back from USWA. Him and Flex Cavana were USWA Tag Team Champions. And I don't know if Flex ever made any money after that. What did he become?
Flex Cavana? No, I don't think he. Yeah, we haven't seen him in a while. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
he might be.
It's like Dwayne Johnson or something. I don't know. Something unmarketable. So final boss, I don't know.
Something.
So so Smart Bart moves back to Portland. He's Roddy's personal assistant. I was living in Portland at the time. I then moved to Los Angeles. I get a call from Smart Bart saying that Roddy is about to move to LA to do some, straight to DVD movies, and he needs an assistant. And I got the call, and so Roddy and I met. We went to the Palms restaurant for lunch every day for a week. And on the last day, he said, write down a number on a piece of paper to be my personal assistant. I wrote down $80,000. And he said, you should have asked for more. And I reached back to grab the paper. Roddy grabbed the paper, chewed it up, and swallowed it. Not kidding.
Well, if he chewed it up and swallowed it, it's not enforceable.
Well, I'm not sure that Roddy would agree with you, and he's not the kind of guy you want to argue with.
You recently won the BRCW Cruiserweight Championship. Can you tell us what that moment was like for you?
Well, it was insane. Before we get to the actual moment, we'll go in kind of reverse order because I'm talking with you, Matthew, and Neil. You weren't trying to hear anything I had to say, but Matthew, you're just like, is this a bucket list item for Jonny Fairplay? Can you? And I was just like, no, absolutely not, because I'm 51 years old. I may have put winning a wrestling championship on my bucket list at age 20, at age 25, at age 30, at most 35. That stuff was scratched off, brother. Like, you want to know something that's never going to happen? Yeah, that's it. So I'm not wasting that spot on my piece of paper for bucket list stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So no, that was not at one time, sure, but the 2025 Jonny Fairplay bucket list did not include Cruiserweight champion of the world of Boca Raton. But peek behind the curtain, it's one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me in my entire, because it wasn't fathomable to be on the bucket list. That's how cool it was.
Johnny, I also won the BRCW Cruiserweight Championship at the age of 51.
Oh, wow. It's a recurring theme.
Just a little thing. Yep.
That is interesting.
Well, if Mark Long built a time machine, maybe he too can. What? Guys, it just takes a DeLorean and 88 miles an hour. It's not that hard. How much does a DeLorean go for now? What, $10,000? Come on.
You can rent them.
The belt's worth more than $10,000.
You can rent them.
Even better.
I rented one. The guy says, "How long do you need it for?" I'm like, "I don't know. What's your minimum rental?" I don't.
You're right. How long before it has to be towed back here?
So, at first, it seemed that you and Neil were destined to be rivals, but you seem to be, getting along. Maybe there's a mutual respect. Can you tell us what changed, and how do you see your friendship evolving in BRCW?
I feel that's a Neil question. I mean, for me, the passing of the torch. You respect your elders. I beat Neil fair and square with no help, because that's the kind of man that I am. So I feel that I kind of earned his respect, and by proxy, I felt the beating was so savage that he don't want no more of the smoke. So, but Neil, you explain how you feel our relationship is at this moment.
I hated Johnny for quite some time, especially leading up to this match. We actually had two altercations. One at Over the Edge.
At a charity event, Neil. How uncouth. I love it.
Yeah, you bumped into me, I think. anyway, there was some. You may have had some drinks in you and may have gotten loud in my face. There might have been a little shoving going on, but it was taken care of. Then at what was the next event that we had a little altercation at?
Oh, Challenge Mania.
Challenge Mania.
I minding my own business.
You were mouthing.
I feel like the charity event may have been my fault, and I will take 49% responsibility. But Challenge Mania was all. I did nothing to insinuate that.
Okay. Well, fast forward. Johnny did beat me. He says fair and square. I don't.
It's in his name. It's right in his name.
I don't think that's true, but
yeah, my name's Jonny Fairplay. It's not Johnny cheat to win. It's not Johnny have a 400-pound guy put somebody else in a bear hug and then go and pin them. Fairplay. No, it's just Jonny Fairplay.
Anyways, for weeks after the match, I was really pissed. I was so mad. I just lost all self-control. I couldn't even think straight. But then I sat down. And I said, you know what? Me and Johnny we're both heels in this business. We're both hated. Why should we disagree with each other? We should bond like I originally said we should at Challenge Accepted. Of course, I had another.
Yeah, and we could have it Challenge Accepted. You're the one that kicked me in the ding dong.
Yeah, it's in my blood though.
Oh, okay.
It's in my blood. So
that old trick knee acting up again, I guess.
But listen, this is what I came to a conclusion that, hey, Jonny Fairplay is an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole. So 2 assholes are better than 1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I say that every night at 1 a.m., brother.
Well, I have no idea what that means, and I don't know if I want to.
Just don't Google. Never mind.
2 assholes better than 1?
Yeah,
2 holes, 1 fair play. Don't Google that.
No.
Anyway.
I would use a private browser.
Right. But yeah, so we need to get along. I think together we can cause some havoc.
Neil, if you're throwing an offer on the table, I mean, I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. I did beat you fair and square. However you see it, it's not important.
I will say this: it is fair and square. In my eyes, it is fair. You did beat me fair and square. Because I would have done this. Because I would have done the same exact thing.
Okay, so with that being the case, I feel it's advantageous for me to work with you and not against you.
Right. I don't know about working with me because I do have the Sons of Boca.
Yeah, I know, and I want 2 more guys that I would love to be friends with as opposed to enemies with.
It's actually 4 guys.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking the tag team that put kind of put a beat down on me. I don't know if you called that part of the match.
Well, we'll have to talk about that down the road. We'll talk about it down the road. But I mean, to be in the Sons of Boca, you have to be Polynesian. So I don't know if you'd fit that.
Well, I've never sent off my DNA to any of those websites. Basically, out of fear of being indicted on something. But
but you did spend some time in the Pearl Islands.
I was in Palau, Micronesia. I feel that
it's in his blood.
Polynesian by proxy. I think is how that works.
I'm in.
All right.
All right.
We'd have to ask the commissioner, but I think it should be fine.
We'll see. But yeah, Johnny, you've been around.
Brutus couldn't find Samoa on a map.
Hey, he's our commissioner.
Yeah, I know. No one said that geography was one of the requirements to be commissioner of Boca Raton Championship Wrestling, correct?
Yeah, but you don't have to.
I couldn't find it on the map either, though. So. But Johnny, you've been around some of the biggest names in wrestling. Besides Matthew and myself, who's giving you the best advice about making it in the business?
Ooh, wow. Yikes! The best. Of course, Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
I sat in the learning tree, and that guy just. It's all knowledge. It's all knowledge, and if you're not paying attention, you're stupid. So definitely Roddy was very instrumental. When I was in TNA, my second run when Dusty had the book, Scott Hall and I would just Scott and Kev. I mean, we would just talk for hours.
Were you in the NWO?
And, what's that?
Were you in the NWO?
No.
Oh.
They had the main. It was right before the beginning of the Main Event Mafia. So it like when I got to TNA on my second run, Dusty Rhodes had gotten the book, and they gave him the roster and our salaries. And Dusty goes, "Who's this Jonny Fairplay? Why does he make more money than everybody else?" You're like, "Oh, that's the guy from Survivor. Jeff Jarrett didn't like him." He goes, "He's more famous than AJ Styles. I'll use him." So I went back to TNA, and there was a shuttle bus that would take everyone over from the hotel to Universal Studios for the TV tapings. And I'm a runner. I run 3 to 10 miles a day. I'm actually sitting. I got my running gear on, my knee pads, all the gimmicks. I'm actually running right after this podcast. So, but in lieu of taking the shuttle bus that smelled like farts, I had my little roller bag, and I would run to Universal Studios, and sometimes it would be myself and Bob Backlund, and some, if Bob Backlund wasn't there, once again another big influence on me, and it would just be me by myself. And I remember just getting to the gate, and Scott Hall pulls up, and he goes, "Mr. Fairplay, do you mind if I call you Mr. Fairplay?" I was like, "Absolutely." And I was like, "What can I call you?" He goes, "Whatever." I'm like, "Razor." So Razor. He was just like, "Let me give you a ride." I was like, "No, I'm just." He's like, "Oh, sir, So Cody was in the passenger's seat. He had Cody Hall moved to the back, and man, put my suitcase in. I ride with Scott in. And he's just like, "What locker room are you in?" And I'm just like, "I'm not sure." He goes, "You're in the main event locker room, brother." And so it's me and me, Razor, Kev. I think Scott Steiner, and maybe Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, and then Jeff Jarrett comes in. He's like, "What's Fairplay doing here?" And Razor is just like, "Because this is where he's supposed to be." It's like, whoa, all right, that's pretty cool. So yeah, so you dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Yeah. Wow. Pretty cool.
All right. So what's next? What's next for Jonny Fairplay?
Woo. So I am disappearing in April for a little bit. I'm filming something. It's top secret. I can't say, but it's big. So that's good. I guess my manager's talking to the Survivor 50 people. We'll see what comes of that. Traitors Season 4 is filming in Scotland, I believe, in June. They're chatting, so I know nothing there. And they're always making new shows. I mean, Deal No Deal Island Season 3 is always a possibility. There's Mr. Beast Beast Games 2 for $15 million. They've reached out to see if I have any interest. So I mean, there's plenty of shows on the table, but I've decided going into 2025, I wanted to make this quality over quantity, and I've found myself saying no to more things than not, just because what I pick, I want to be special. And when I got the call from you guys, Matthew, it was just like, this is something special. This is something that I've had my eye on for a couple of years now. I mean, I have a friend of mine from Calgary who lives in Vegas now, and he's just like, "Have you seen this Boca Raton Championship Wrestling?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Dude, have you seen Neil the Heel?" And I'm just like, "Oh my God!" Like, Neil, not to blow smoke up you, but you've seen the roster on BRCW, and for my friend Keith the Crazy Canadian to be like, "Hey, have you seen this guy Neil the Heel?" That's pretty impressive.
That's amazing.
And so I was just like, this is something I need to do. So when as far as things that I'm gonna do, or things that I want to do, or things that are gonna happen, or possibly gonna happen, or not gonna happen, I've in my my immediate future, with laser vision focus, Boca Raton Championship Wrestling is that's one of the highlights for me for the year of 2025. So whatever else happens, that's a bonus, but that's side stuff. I am stoked. It is unbelievable to be a champion. To have a successful title defense yesterday was great, but going back to Boca and defending the championship there, that's when the bragging rights begin, and we got to figure out some parameters on this match. I'm not so sure skill level myself and Tyler Breeze makes the most sense on paper. I just, it's been some time for him. Maybe he's too rusty. I don't know. I just feel like I need a way for it to be more fair. And if it happens to be more fair for me, great. So be it.
You want advice on how it could be more fair for you? This is what I did. You go out and get yourself a 6'7" monstrous bodyguard.
There you go.
Oh wow!
You can't have mine.
Probably. I know. Yeah, you don't. I've seen your rental fees. I can't. I don't have a budget. Going back to that time machine thing. I mean, I've known Mark Long for like, if I kind of said some nicer things about Mark Long prior to 10 minutes ago, that probably would have been a good phone call. Matthew, you're gonna be shocked to hear this. I don't have a lot of friends.
Oh.
Yeah. So I know you weren't prepared for that, but wow, this is that's I sometimes let my mouth get me in trouble. And I feel like this is I feel like life up until this moment will be reflective of that, and this conversation maybe is doing me no justice. So wow, maybe a friend. I have trouble even saying the word. Therein lies the problem.
I'm looking forward to Jonny Fairplay versus Tyler Breeze because.
Oh, I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be steal the show.
I think if we could add a few more bells and whistles to this thing, and maybe just kind of, as I said, I don't see it being fair for Tyler. So just let's have your people get in touch with my people. Let's jazz this thing up a little bit.
It's just gonna be a straight up shoot wrestling match. You'll do fine, John. Don't worry.
I mean, what? Can you remember what does shoot mean?
It's gonna be a good match.
Yeah.
Oh, good match. All right, sweet. I will tell all the guys I would like to shoot with them.
We did show Tyler your wrestling highlight reel, and he is just excited to get in the ring with you and take care of business.
Tear the house down, huh?
Oh, it's going to be a great match. It's going to be great. Any last words? Any parting words before we end this episode?
The champ is here. I mean, so go. In the interim, go check out my my podcast. Go to realityaftershow.com. It's got my Wrestling After Show podcast, my coverage of Survivor, my coverage of Australian Survivor. I got Paulie Calafiore covering the Challenge. I'm starting a podcast after my run today. We're going to cover the first 3 episodes of $1 Million Secret, the number 3 show on Netflix at this very moment.
Cool.
And tomorrow night, back to Survivor 48, covering that. We're a week away from the debut of Got to Get Out, the Hulu exclusive featuring Spencer Pratt and Omarosa. We'll have coverage of that. But everything, links to all that at realityaftershow.com. Brand new website just launched after my return from Australia from 2 weeks ago. But just remember, the champ is here.
Well, Jonny, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. The champ is here. I think you are going to do great. May 18th at BRCW Underground. Whether it's Survivor, House of Villains, wrestling, or just causing chaos wherever you go, you always keep things interesting. Everybody, please be sure to check out realityaftershow.com. And, of course, catch Jonny Fairplay defending the BRCW Cruiserweight Championship in the ring. Make sure you follow the Matthew Mania Podcast on Instagram. It's Matthew Mania Podcast. I also just started a Real Estate Finder podcast. I started separate Instagram accounts for both podcasts. There was just too much clutter on my other social media channels. So check out MatthewMania.com for more information. Don't forget to check out Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. Shout out to Signature Real Estate Finder, realestatefinder.com, sponsors our show. Jonny, thank you once again for being here. And Neil, also thank you for co-hosting this show and for scheduling Jonny to appear today.
My pleasure.
You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. Yeah, got him shook, scared, can't look. We're not afraid of the big bad wolf. First comes the right, followed by the left hook. Execute perfect, this is textbook. If you ever test, make sure you bring the best. Head into the ring with the M on my chest. Any match, bring the ladders and the tables. Lock us in the cage and nobody can save you. When it's war, I'm coming to destroy. Napalm blast, I'm coming with the noise. They chant for the king, the girls and the boys. They saying I'm the best cause they didn't have a choice.
You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time.